Okay, I want to share my experience with under eye filler migration because it has been absolutely the worst thing. First of all, this is what I used to look like. This is what I look like now. About 2 weeks ago, I woke up with a bag under my right eye. Okay, just a bag. I could feel my tear duct was swollen. As the days progressed, the swelling kind of continued over into the left eye area, left tear duct, left bags, and every morning I was waking up with these really bad bags. It started off not that bad, and then as time progressed, so did the symptoms. I initially thought it was an infection of some kind, so I went to urgent care. They gave me an antibiotic, and that did nothing. Benadryl, Sudafed, nothing seemed to be working. After a week and a half of dealing with this, I went back to my doctor to get 1 syringe of the enzyme to dissolve the filler. The long-term effects of under-eye filler can be really bad. If I could make any suggestion to anyone, please consider the long-term effects of under-eye filler and please reconsider whether you want to get it or not. This has been one of the worst experiences ever.
Guys, my lips have migrated and I don't know what to do. Like, this is not good. Literally feels like a huge ball is just sitting here. I only got 0.5 in them today and I'm wondering, do I need to get these dissolved? Or do you reckon it will just even out? I'm putting ice on them, but I can feel that ball. I had dissolved my under T-trough filler. Like, I did it when I was like 19. Biggest regret of my life. Like, I would always have like a pillow here. And I just dissolved it yesterday. And it's already like gone down. Like, it's already begun to hollow out, which is annoying. But yeah, I will never ever do cheek or under eye filler ever again. I think it's not it.
We are getting my chin filler dissolved today. I have had this filler in my face since I was like 20. First time I ever got my lips done, injector was like, hey, you want to inject your chin too? Because I had a bum chin. And I was like, what? And she's like, we can just fill that little slit. Never thought about filling my chin. I never know you could at the time. This was 10 years ago. So I filled it and I've been filling it ever since. And I feel like it's migrating and there's filler over here. And I only ever wanted filler in my tip. So I'm going to get it dissolved. This is a reminder to get your filler dissolved because filler migrates no matter where it is. So get it dissolved, get it redone.
I was talking to my friend about my inflammation. She's like, that's not inflammation, dear. That's migrated filler. What?
Months ago, I noticed that my lips are bumpy and lumpy. I thought, is it got anything to do with this Botox? And then I spoke to my sister and my friend the other night when we went for dinner, and I was like, this is what's happening to my lips. I think I need to go get filler in between the like bumps. Yeah. And they both looked at me like, what? That is filler. That's
migrated filler into the inner lip rim. That's the scary thing about filler.
The last time I got lip fillers was 4 years ago. I just assumed I don't have fillers in my lips anymore.
It sticks around. It's loyal as fuck, filler is. Maybe don't leave. That's really scary because same thing happens when you get nose filler and migrates under your eyes. All this new information is coming out.
How random, like after 4 years, it just suddenly, I literally woke up, guys, one morning and my lip was like bumped.
No, it just became more and more obvious.
I saw those videos of those girls that are like, oh, my lip filler migrated, and it's like migrated around the rim of their lips. I was always sitting here so arrogant, like they must have had a bad injectionist because that did not happen to me. Mine's on the inside of my lip.
Nose filler migration. Now, a lot of people aren't aware that nose filler can migrate, but when it does migrate, it can look pretty bad. So the most common place of migration is right here, because here the skin is quite loose and it can migrate outwards, which makes the top of your nose look very fat. Now, migration with nose filler usually happens because too much derma filler has been injected in that area. And the bone is quite thin here and it ends up spilling out. Now, once you have migration, that pocket is there underneath your skin. So even if you do get it dissolved and get it refilled quite quickly, that pocket can just refill.
Doctor's orders. Be very careful of under eye filler. And yes, we've all heard the horror stories about how it has caused blindness, although that is a very rare and very devastating complication. I mean, the under eyes are one of the thinnest and most unforgiving areas on the face. Sometimes you can develop this like blue-gray under eye appearance after filler. We call this the Tyndall effect. This usually happens when filler is placed too close to the surface, and this is why proper patient selection and injection techniques are so crucial.
If you're thinking that you ever might get a facelift or want a facelift, not now, maybe in the future, listen carefully. If you're planning on getting a facelift, ever in your life, be extremely careful of having anyone inject fillers into your face. No, it's not fear-mongering. This is 20 years of experience in front of the camera telling you what I have seen and why I have stopped injecting fillers. And yes, I used to inject fillers way before you even knew that fillers exist. Okay? So I stopped doing it about 7 years ago because I saw what it does as a facelift surgeon when I actually look under the skin, take a direct look at the muscle and know what it is doing to your tissues. It makes a facelift much harder. You cannot get those results that you're imagining, and it causes permanent issues like swelling, lymphatic issues, and premature aging of the skin. So, if you're ever interested in doing facelift, be careful, okay? Know what's gonna happen. Besides, it doesn't even look cool, alright? So fillers are out.
You go in for a quick lip filler appointment. 20 minutes later, you walk out looking exactly how you wanted. Fuller lips, subtle, natural. Everyone around you says you look great. Fast forward 2 years, you're standing in front of the mirror and something looks off. Your lips look bigger than they should be, even though you haven't had filler done in months. Your face looks heavier, puffier. You can't put your finger on it, but something has definitely changed. That right there, that is filler migration, and it is one of the most talked about side effects in the aesthetics world right now. Let's start from the beginning, because a lot of people still don't fully understand what filler actually is and how it works inside your body. The most common ones being hyaluronic acid fillers like Juvederm are gel-like substances that are injected under the skin to add volume, smooth out lines, and enhance certain features. They're used on the lips, cheeks, jawline, under eyes, nose, and more. When they're first injected, the filler sits exactly where the provider placed it. That's the intention. That's what you're paying for. But here's the thing. Filler is not a solid. It is a gel. And over time, that gel can move. It can shift away from the original injection site and travel into areas where it was never meant to go. That's filler migration. Now, it doesn't happen overnight. It's usually a slow, gradual process. You may not even notice it happening at first, especially with repeated treatments. The filler starts to accumulate in the wrong places. On the lips, migrated filler can create what people call a shelf above the lip border. Instead of a natural, defined lip edge, you get this blurred, puffy area that makes the lips look like they're melting into the surrounding skin. On the cheeks, migrated filler can travel downward and settle in areas like the nasolabial folds, the lines that run from your nose to the corners of your mouth, making them look deeper and heavier instead of lifting the face the way it was supposed to. On the face in general, repeated filler that has migrated over time contributes to what the aesthetic community calls pillow face, and we'll get into that in detail in a moment. But for now, let's watch a few more clips.
So what you're looking at here is an MRI image of a 33-year-old patient who had over 12 cc, which is 12 syringes of hyaluronic acid filler injected to her face over the past 6 years. Now, the area that is green is the hyaluronic acid filler. Now, what's interesting here is that when we did volumetric analysis, that means when we measured the amount of filler, the amount of volume that was there, it ended up being close to 28 cc, which is more than twice the amount of filler that was injected. And what this shows us is that hyaluronic acid fillers are hydrophilic. That means they love water, and they also cause tissue expansion.
Seeing images like this makes me so happy that I kind of made a pact with myself that I would never get anything injected into myself. This is filler, and a doctor who I will tag recently shared this TikTok showing that actually it expands under the skin. It's hyaluronic acid, so it doesn't just kind of give you the plumpness, it continues to absorb water. And that's why people get pillow face and why it looks so puffy, and you get stuck in an endless loop of having to get more work done, because when you lift your face, then eventually it sags down. And I think it's just crazy that people get this and don't know enough. I don't think it's anyone's fault, but that there's not enough information out there about what filler actually is and the long-lasting effects. And he also mentions the effect on the lymphatic system, which I think is terrifying.
Fillers don't dissolve over time. That is a lie that they sold you. Fillers migrate and expand over time. This is a fact. They did an MRI or a scan on someone. Babe, if you see what the fillers look like, that's why now you have the pillow face and the puff face and the whatever. This is a fact.
I have to agree with her. If you see patients that have had filler many decades or years ago and you have that patient get an MRI done for whatever reason, you'll see a lot of the filler still there, even when they haven't recently gotten it. It calcifies, it becomes a part of you.
Came up on my Instagram feed today and I just had to share it because it perfectly summarizes a lot of what's going wrong with injectables and aesthetics today. Hi, my name is Van, Bay Area Aesthetic Injector, and this is a slide from Dr. Harris's page. And if you don't follow him, make sure you check out his Instagram. A lot of times injectors will say, oh, it's just 1 syringe, 1 ml. It's not a lot of product, no big deal. But Dr. Harris brings up a really good point that is it just 1 ml? 1 syringe of filler is going to expand. It is water loving, so over time it draws in water and then it expands to be effectively more than 1 ml. So no shade to like 1 syringe of filler, you know, in the right hands, in the right candidate, it could be great. Most of my patients don't need 1 ml in their lips, but we do sometimes do 1 ml or more in, say, cheeks or doing whole face facial rebalancing. The fillers can last much longer than we originally expected. And this is a scan here to show all of the filler that's still in this person's face after however many numbers of years. And because it stays longer than we originally expected, you get this cumulative effect or like buildup of filler over time, especially if you're going in to see your injector yearly for the same amount of filler every time. And the more filler that you get in your face, there could be adverse effects like compression or obstruction of venous outflow and lymphatics. There can be risk for migration. One of the biggest topics that has been brought up this year is the idea of perception drift. This occurs over time. Like you get something done and a little bit of time has passed and you think, oh, it's gone back to baseline, when in fact it has not gone back to baseline, but we just become more accustomed to it. Perception drift can affect patients and injectors, so it's really important to be aware of that and not overdo with fillers. So be conservative. Less is more.
Take my advice, do not do under eye filler. Under eye filler is such a dangerous game. Let me show you why. Under eye filler can be very difficult to get right, and in my opinion, most clinicians don't know how to utilize it in the correct way. If you have too much, it can make your under eyes look very puffy, which can actually end up aging you in the long run. For example, we've all seen this picture of Kylie Jenner. You can see under her eyes where the filler has become really puffy and she's had that splitting of her fat pads, and it just doesn't look good. It makes her look old. And she's gonna have like the best plastic cosmetic doctors in the country, and this is how homegirl's looking. We don't want to mess with that. As you can see, the filler just migrates further down and you just look super puffy, overfilled. It's not cute.
Now you might be wondering, if this happens so often, why do people keep getting it done? And that's actually a really important question. First, not everyone experiences migration to the same degree. Several factors play a role in how likely it is to happen to you. Filler placed too superficially, meaning too close to the surface of the skin, or injected in the wrong layer, is much more likely to migrate. An experienced, medically trained injector who understands facial anatomy knows where to place filler so it sits correctly and stays put. A less experienced provider does not always have the depth of knowledge. There's also a limit to how much a particular area of the face can actually hold. When you exceed that limit, when you keep adding more volume into a space that's already full, the filler has nowhere to go except outward and downward. Over time, it spreads. Also, every time new filler is injected into an area that still has older filler sitting in it, because let's be clear, filler does not fully dissolve the way many providers tell their clients. The volume keeps building, and more volumes means more pressure, and more pressure means more migration. Also, the type of filler matters too. Thinner, more fluid hyaluronic acid fillers are more likely to migrate than thicker, denser ones. This is why the type of filler used and the area it's being used in matters. A filler designed for fine lines around the mouth is not the same as a filler designed for structural cheek volume. When the wrong product is used in the wrong area, migration risk goes up significantly. And then there's the movement. Your face is constantly moving. You're talking, laughing, chewing, squinting. All of that repeated movement, especially around dynamic areas like the lips and mouth, can contribute to filler shifting over time. If you've ever ever looked at a celebrity or public figure and thought, something looks different, but I can't quite explain that? There is a very good chance that what you're seeing is the cumulative effect of years of filler migration. The term people use for this is pillow face. Pillow face is not a medical diagnosis. It's a term used to describe a specific look that develops when too much filler has been used over time, often with some degree of migration. The face loses its natural contours. The transitions between features, the way the cheeks meet the under eye area, the way the lips blend into the surrounding skin, start to look blurred and undefined. Instead of looking lifted and refreshed, the face starts to look heavy and swollen. The skin can look stretched. The features start to blend into each other rather than sitting separately the way they're supposed to. And the really challenging thing about pillow face is that it tends to develop so slowly that the person going through it often doesn't notice. They are used to seeing their face every day. They've been adding a little here and a little there over the course of years. To them, each appointment was subtle, but when you look at photos from 5 years ago side by side with a photo taken today, the change is stark. And this is something we've seen discussed widely in relation to some very high-profile names. Kylie Jenner, for example, has been one of the most talked about cases in this conversation. She openly admitted to getting lip fillers at a young age. She was 17 when she started, and her transformation over the years has been one of the most documented beauty changes in pop culture. For a long time, she denied it, then she came clean. And more recently, she has spoken about dissolving her fillers and stepping back from the extreme volume she once had. The conversation around Kylie Jenner and filler is not about shaming her. It's about what her journey represents, starting young, doing more over time, and eventually reaching a point where less became the goal. Chrissy Teigen is another name that has come up in this conversation. Chrissy has been remarkably open about the work she's had done over the years, which many people in the beauty space have genuinely appreciated. She has spoken candidly about getting filler, regretting some of it, and dissolving it. Her honesty about the process, including the regret, has helped open up a much bigger conversation about what long-term filler use actually looks like and what the exit strategy looks like. And this is really the point. These are not cautionary tales about vanity. These are real examples of what happens when something that starts as a small cosmetic enhancement becomes a longer-term situation that requires active management and, in many cases, several. Now, let's talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough in this conversation, because here's what the data tells us. The average age of people getting dermal fillers has been getting younger and younger. We're now seeing people in their early 20s, and in some cases, their late teens, seeking out lip fillers and cheek fillers, not because they have volume loss or signs of aging, but because of what they are saying on their phones every single day. Social media has created an entire new category of beauty pressure, and it's important to understand what's actually happening here. When you scroll through Instagram or TikTok, you are not seeing real, unfiltered faces most of the time. You are seeing filtered, edited, often enhanced versions of people's faces. The lips look fuller, the cheekbones look higher, the skin looks smoother, the contours look more defined. Even the influencers and creators themselves are often using filters and editing tools that alter their facial proportions in ways that are physically impossible to achieve in real life. But the audience doesn't always know that, especially younger audiences. So a 17-year-old is sitting there watching video after video of faces that look a certain way, and they start to believe that that is what faces are supposed to look like. Their own face, which is completely normal and healthy, starts to feel inadequate, and the solution that keeps appearing in front of them through ads, through beauty content, through their favorite creators talking about their aesthetics appointments is filler. And the providers are there. They are accessible. In many countries, the regulations around who is allowed to inject filler are very loose. In some places, anyone with a short-term training course can legally offer filler injections. There is no requirements for them to be a doctor, a nurse, or even have to have any formal medical training. So you have a young person who has been told by the social media feed that their face is not enough, and they have an easy access to a provider who will inject them with very little gatekeeping. And because they are young, they may not be losing volume in their face the way an older person would be. They are adding volume on top of already full, youthful structure. And that is where the risk of overfilling and eventual migration starts, potentially decades before they would have needed any intervention at all. And this is not a small or isolated issue. This is happening on a wider scale, and the long-term consequences are starting to show up in consultation rooms around the world. The beauty industry has a significant responsibility here that it has not always stepped up to meet. Lastly, let's talk about what happens when things go wrong and people decide they want to reverse course. Hyaluronic acid fillers, which are the most common type, can be dissolved using an enzyme called hyalase. It breaks down the filler relatively quickly. This has led to a significant rise in what the industry calls dissolving appointments. More and more people are going in to have their filler removed, either because of migration, overfilling, lumps, asymmetry, or simply because they no longer want it. And honestly, the conversation around dissolving has become almost as big as the conversation around getting filler in the first place. There are entire TikTok trends built around before and after dissolving content. Creators are documenting their journeys of having their filler dissolved and talking about how different and often how much better they feel. But the dissolving process is not as simple or clean as it sounds. If the filler has been migrating and building up over many years, it may take multiple dissolving sessions to fully clear it. It is not always a one appointment fix. And lastly, and this is something that a lot of people don't hear about before they book their dissolving appointment, after dissolving, the skin may not snap back to exactly what it looked like before. Skin that has been stretched by filler for years may have experienced some changes in texture or laxity. For many people, especially younger people, this resolves over time, but it is something to be aware of and to have an honest conversation about it with a qualified provider before going ahead. If you're young and if you're in your teens or early 20s, please understand that you are likely not at a point in your life where you need filler at all. Your face is still changing. You are still growing into your features. The pressure you feel right now is not coming from your mirror. It is coming from an algorithm designed to make you feel inadequate so that you'll spend money. And that is worth knowing.
I used 2 vials to dissolve my top and bottom lip and the migration. I'm on a lip filler dissolving journey. I got my lips filled back in April, and when she injected me, I think she went a little too high on my border. So although my border was sharp, it migrated like right under my nose, and I kind of had like filler mustache. And I just hated it. Like, I hated the look. I didn't feel natural anymore. It wasn't me. My lips were too big. They projected too much. When I beat my face for a night out, I just felt like my lipstick and my lip liner made my lips look 10 times bigger than they already were, and they were already big. I'm fresh off the needle. Literally, I just left my appointment to get them dissolved. She used 2 vials to dissolve my top and bottom lip and the migration, and I'm so swollen. But this is what they look like right now.
If you've made it this far, I appreciate you watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Creators' handles are in the description box below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.